Texas. It's coming home all the way to Austin, Texas, baby.
St. Jude, yeah, and we back, yeah, Zeus P, St. Jude, coming to you live, you don't know what to do, Hey, take an hour break, better yet two, tune in with ATX, best Zeus and St. Jude, they ain't playing with you fools, giving game how to move, trying out the best food, no, got the best shoes, real world thoughts coming from some real men. Big business, bigger pockets, even healthy children. I hit that 2-hour lunch break when I got a fun day. Got a flex for this shorty that should be on the runway. I be laughing at the football days of tight shins, fart bottles, even some healthy products for my skin. It's an all black affair, bring your white friend. Kick your feet up, roll something, let the light in. Damn, it's the 2-hour lunch break, dog, I'm locked in. So turn your speakers up a notch and grab the white gin. And when I'm on the road to the office or the crib, it's Big Zeus, St. Jude, the ones I wanna hear. This is that 2-hour lunch break live from Lady Bird J Lake. Coming to you live, putting on for they city. This is that 2-hour lunch break live from Lady Bird J Lake. They got everything from the pretty, ugly, and gritty. This is that 2-hour lunch break live from Lady Bird J Lake. So tune in, my dog, you don't wanna miss nothing. This is that 2-hour lunch break, cause one is for pump face. Don't believe me, ask the city dog, I ain't bluffing. Zeus P, St. Jude, O and me, cap status, same crew, different moves, bigger, pay due. ATX, what up? Yeah. 512, what up? Yeah. 210, what up? Yeah. 830, what up? Yeah. Hey, y'all ain't think I knew about that, huh? Yeah. Georgetown, where we at? Riverside, all around. Yeah. See the Jarvis where it goes down.
All right, man, we are back at it with another edition of Season 4 of the 2-Hour Lunch Break Podcast, a podcast for Austin, from Austin. We're back at home base, Dogwood Studios, downtown Austin, Texas. I'm Trotwood Zeus, one half of the 2-Hour Lunch Break Podcast, and I got my co-host.
Saint, what's going on, y'all?
And we got a special guest in the building, Miss Nicole S. Parker, author. Cooper. I'm sorry. Let me get right. Cooper, author, digital marketing, and faith-based business coach. I know you have the Black Life ATX umbrella, a social media movement connecting Black Austin to local businesses and resources. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here. This is awesome.
Thank you.
Super awesome.
Glad to have you. To have you. I know I was actually talking to Thomas about it earlier.
Yeah.
I was really excited about this episode because I know it seemed like Black Life ATX just popped up out of nowhere. It's like, one moment, you have local social media movements and stuff like that. And then boom, I was like, who is this? Where did this come from? What is this about? And then of course we had our back and forth. We had DM'd a few times as far as you coming on the show. So I'm glad to have you here. We appreciate you taking the time to come out dry. I know you were talking about you were taking laps around and everything like that to try to, get part. Yes. So we appreciate, you coming down, chopping it up with us. We're happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. And definitely, we did just pop up. So there's a lot of stuff popping up since we popped up, but I'm excited to be here to talk about it.
Cool. So can you start by telling us your story? How did you think about Black Life ATX? What made you want to execute this plan of action? And what made you just jump on the scene and step out there and get out there so large and so quickly? You guys are rocking and rolling.
So Black Life ATX, the idea is 10 years old.
Whoa.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we moved here in 2013. I came here to be a speaker. We were a part of a digital marketing company, and I was here to be a speaker, and we lived all over the place. And so when we got here, I always share the story, but we never could really find a city that we loved. We lived Florida, Atlanta, LA, Memphis. We lived everywhere. Right. But when when I was on a plane here and I was landing, I just felt in my spirit, welcome home. And I had never thought about Austin before. I was just coming here to speak. So long story short, I was like, welcome home. Like, what's that all about? From the minute I got off the plane to the keep Austin weird, because I'm a Cali girl, we got a little weird in us, right? Yes. Okay. But it was just the whole vibe from the driver bringing us through East Austin, all of that. The energy was just crazy. So my husband was coming with me, and he ended up coming on the trip. He ended up being here with me. And I remember him staring out the window, and he was just like, I was like, what are you thinking about? He was like, I don't want to leave this place. Like, I want to stay. Wow. And I was like, me too. Wow. So we literally made a decision at that moment to move here. This was 2013, right? Okay. Mind you, we don't know nobody here. So we go back home. We were living in Memphis at the time. And then we end up, I subscribed to Black Enterprise magazine. I get home, open up my mailbox. On the front cover of the magazine was Austin, #1 place for blacks in technology. Hey. Crazy, right? Sign. Then the girl who was on the cover had a dress on. I had just did a photo shoot in Atlanta. Okay. Stylist styled me, nothing out my wardrobe, something she bought. Same dress in the photo shoot that the girl had on in this photo shoot. It was just all these like things, right? Yeah. So we just went on a rampage, like we're moving, we're going to Austin. But when we were coming here and we started researching, it was top 5 best place to live, but they kept talking about how the black people kept leaving. So I kept hearing that over and over and over, everything I read, because at that time blogs were big. And so I remember I came across this lady's blog. Her blog was, she wasn't a black woman, she was just a regular stay-at-home mom, but she showed you the landscape of Austin, where to live, what to do, and all the things. So literally her site gave me the navigation of Austin. So I said, when I get to Austin, I'm gonna do something like that. Well, fast forward, got here, was too busy traveling, never got a chance to do it. We left Austin in 2016. We ended up leaving. Okay. Came back in 2020 because we felt like this was home for us and we wanted to come back, and it was the worst. Pandemic time, it was depressing, it was political rampage, everybody was evil, going at each other in the Facebook groups that lived in our community. I hated it, and I was telling them I was depressed, I was lonely, I was just like, God, I don't feel like I have nowhere to go but the grocery store, run my kids. I just was losing myself. Now I build businesses on the internet, so we make money from home, from my bed, whatever. So the work for me was always indoors. So I was just like, I don't know where to go when I leave the house. I don't know who to do my hair. I don't know how to plug into community. Like, I just don't know how to get acclimated in this city. And I knew people, but the issue is I'm an entrepreneur, they're corporate. So my way of navigating is daytime. I want to hit the coffee shops and the great, you know what I mean? And so I just didn't have anybody to plug in with. So I remember just thinking about like, okay, I was sick of the Zooms because I'm a coach. Last year I coached 120 businesses and I was just sitting Zoom, gain 50 pounds, just gaining weight, miserable. And I was like, I gotta do something different. And I just felt led to like do something for the community. It was like, why don't you help the people who live in your neighborhood? They don't know how to market. These people don't know what to do. And so I remember going to my son's barbershop and I asked the barber, I said, how you get business? He was like, word of mouth. I said, are you keeping up with your social media page? What are you doing? And he was like, man, I don't have time for it. It just takes too much work. So I'm sitting there with him. I said, well, what if I created a platform that instead of you trying to build your own channel, I build the channel of all, where I get all the black folks to come to one page and then we promote you. So me and him are just talking about it. And he was like, man, I'll be your first customer. So I was like, okay.
There it is.
So right on the spot, I pulled out my camera and did it. I said, I'm about to do a reel on you. And I just started taking shots. That was the first reel on the page. And then I went to my lady who braided my hair. Same question. A lady walks in who had a mixed child. She was of another race, Latino or something, but her daughter was black and big bushy hair. The whole time they sat in the salon with us, this was the first time she ever found a black stylist to do her hair. She's in the 12th grade. Oh, wow. She talked about how she couldn't, it was so hard for them to find somebody. And they're just telling me all their woes about how to actually get plugged in here for her as a mulatto child. And so long story short, I sat in that chair in the braiding shop and I just put it together. So I had been thinking about it 10 years ago. Plus I coach people and I've been telling a lot of these agents and stuff, I'm like, you want to run the city? You need to be out here talking about the neighborhoods, talking about the latest restaurants. I've been trying to get all my clients to do, because I had a bunch of real estate clients. And they was like, I don't have time to do it. So finally I was like, well, I'm just gonna do it. So I already had the formula. I had mapped it out over and over again for all these clients. So it was just really easy for me to just put it together and get out there.
Okay. So I know, the page it's had a lot of action, a flurry of traffic since you started and, only a few months ago. Tell us a little bit about how much it's evolved since you first started.
Oh my gosh. I was just saying that today. I was like, this is taking over me. Like, it's literally become a full-time focus. When I did this, it was out of, I ain't got nothing but time on my hands. Let me see what happens. But I think what has made the difference was I started promoting everybody, right? So I'm a social media marketer. Been doing it for 15 years. Eat, breathe, and sleep this industry.
Gotcha.
And so I know what to do to create the momentum. And so I was like, well, most people are just thinking about themselves. At the end of the day, if you go to everybody's page, it's me, right? So the greatest way to get somebody's attention is to talk about them. So all I did was start talking about everybody in Austin. I was like, oh, you need to know about this stylist over here. This person do nails. This person got a club. This person got an event coming up. It was just push them. So in turn, when you talk about somebody and you promote their stuff, what do? They repost you.
Exactly.
So when they started reposting, people started following, and then it just took off because I really did want it to be a, hey, you trying to figure out what's going on? Let me tell you what I'm finding, because I dug for everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm super protective about it being Austin. So I don't follow a bunch of outside stuff, and I don't promote it on none of my pages that I run this channel, because I don't want a bunch of out-of-state people trying to follow, because to me data makes everything. So if I'm doing a sponsorship with somebody in a business, you go and look at the metrics. If the metrics don't say Austin, it say New York, LA, Philly, they don't feel like their demographic is on that, on there. So I don't push it. And I don't we're launching some other stuff. So I don't do a lot of outside anything. It's strictly Austin. So I went and looked for everybody. I started looking up hashtag Black Austin, finding people and working through networks, and it just kind of worked.
Pop from there. That is cool. That is dope. So tell me a little bit more about the mission and goal of Black Life ATX.
The mission of Black Life ATX is to cultivate community and spotlight Black excellence. And so because I went to a HBCU, I went to Tuskegee.
Okay.
And I lived in Atlanta 1,000 times. And I just come from strong, I'm from LA. So I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, and we really had a strong community. So I'm born, raised, and surrounded and nurtured in community. And so when we moved here, we have a little bit of community, but I just found that that overall culturally in this city is just struggling. Unless you got a clique that that you hang out with frequently, it's just very hard to get plugged in. So my intent was to bring a central location for everybody to know what's going on and to cross promote what's happening, cross promote organizations, events, resource, just kind of be like, yo, y'all, you need to know what's going on, come here, I'll gather everything you need and just make it available. So that's the whole focus. And to also share that it's a lot of brilliance in this city. We just don't know each other exists, and we need a platform to do it. So my goal for this is not the Nicole show, because honestly, I didn't want to personalize it, but I had to, because I had to come up with some content. So I was like, oh, I guess I'll do a video. But I actually ultimately long term would love to get other personalities that are really amazing, that are all throughout the city. We have a couple of people volunteering with us now, and she was like, yeah, we need to get somebody who's big into the arts, and then somebody else who's big into the professional scene, and then somebody who might be into the tech world. Just really finding pockets of people where you become, it's like the reporter, you letting people know Afro Tech is in town, here's what's going on, these are the spots that are happening, or Rich's Art Gallery is having this event over here for artists, come do this. I just wanted to be the central piece of where we are at, so we know where to go. And I didn't want any riffraff with who got what going on, because I'm going to promote everybody. So it was this is not I don't want any segregation, separation, competition, because everybody's like, oh, people, I don't care about nothing anybody did. It's enough of us looking for us that we can create something beautiful and magical. And they just needed somebody to take the initiative. And so that's the goal.
Okay. I was going to say, so far, in what ways has Black Life ATX been successful in connecting businesses and resources to the community? Do you have any examples so far?
My gosh. Okay. So
sounds like a lot.
So here's the thing, and this is the catch to a lot of things that have happened before that did not last. Most people tried to start things, but they didn't monetize them. And it takes a heck of a lot of time to run this stuff.
Right.
I don't think that way. I'm a businesswoman.
Yes.
So when I came in out the gate, I knew what I wanted to launch, and I knew that I needed to monetize to sustain this because we have team. It takes a lot to run. It's a lot. So it's a business. So when we first came in, I said, okay, we need a real directory. Like a lot of people have some, but they're in pockets. The problem is it's on a website. Folks don't go to websites no more. Folks are on social media.
Yes.
So you have to take this static platform, which is your website, and you got to merge it with the current existing live face fronting source that people are going to be actively seeing every single day. So I chose to start off with Instagram because hashtags is super prevalent there. It was really easy to find people on Instagram. TikTok is great, but it's a lot of other stuff you have to do. So we chose Instagram. By doing that, at first I tried to go to people up front and was like, hey, I'm putting this directory together, here's the price. And they was like, get out my inbox. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say, right? Like, stop trying to hustle me. So I said to myself, these folks don't know me. They don't know what I'm about. There's no trust, no like factor. There's no like or trust factor. So let me just do this for free and show people what we're creating. So I did it first. Then we offered the directory. Long story short, once we put that directory and we started celebrating these individual businesses, I promise you probably almost every business, the minute we posted, getting leads and getting clients. Oh, wow. I was in Walmart. It was a young lady the other day. She's actually going to be doing her headshots at our meet and greet. And so she was somebody that I posted, and I ran into her in Walmart. And so she walked to me, she was like, are you from Black Life ATX? And I was like, yeah. She was like, you've changed my life. Oh, wow. Okay. And I was like, huh? And she was like, I'm Brittany. And I was like, oh my God, okay. And I hugged her and we talked or whatever. She was like, listen, I've only been doing this for 2 months. It was a hobby. She said, the minute you posted me, I am booked out for the month of August and halfway through the month of September. Wow. She was like, my phone won't stop ringing.
Oh, numbers.
Numbers. Then I did the same thing with a stylist. She was like, I posted her and she was like, I just got a booking from your site, right? Then I went to my braider. She said, I've had over 10 people come because of you. Then I had oh gosh, the wine bar is popping, people doing events, the Black bookstore. I mean, it's like anytime we post something, it just goes viral. And I think because we're already searching for them, right? And so it's I want to say it's just a combination of things, demand, timing, you know, all the things. And it just so happened that we just so created that platform that is able to create that. And I have tons of stories. And just to kind of put it out there, we've been doing this. This will be our 12th week, right?
Yeah. Quick, even quick.
This is our 12th week. So we literally will be 90 days in a couple of days. When I came in, I had 2 goals. I said, I want us to reach 10,000 people and I want us to get 100 businesses that we promote. We have since now, our reach is over 20,000. We have almost 200,000 impressions and we have almost 90 businesses partner with us.
Man.
So you knocking it out the park.
So we're going to hit 100 by Sunday. But I don't play. I be in them DMs, following up, checking in. Yeah. Like it looks easy, but I work. My husband will tell you, I'm up 2-3 o'clock in the morning because it takes so much. My team's in the Philippines doing design. We doing a magazine. We got the directory. I got 6 people working, 6, 7, 8 people working with me now. Right? So it's like, it takes a machine to run this. Yeah. This is not a one-man band and you can't do it for free. Right. It ain't gonna work because it's just a full-time job.
That's crazy. Speaking of which, I got to give you a shout out. Thank you so much for that wine bar in Round Rock. That was a really, really dope place. Yay. I took my fiance there and we enjoyed it.
Oh, you went to Patrice's spot.
Yeah. It was really, really dope.
So happy
really
to hear that. I love that.
So you talked about the meet and greet, right? That's coming up soon. Tell us a little bit about what your audience can anticipate when they come to Arrival, and also what you feel like the contribution to the community is.
Yes. So the meet and greet, super fired up about this. This is blown up. I thought it was going to be at the wine bar with about 30 people just popping through. That's why it's called a meet and greet. And the minute I posted it, people were like, I'm coming. And we outgrew that spot so fast.
Wow.
So we're going to have about 150 Black professionals in the room. We got so many people in all kind of stuff happening. So the whole concept of that is introduction of who we are, what the vision is, but also to connect. So we're doing some pretty neat things to make sure that people come in the room and find who they need in the room. The whole concept is everything you need is in the room. And so we're doing different activities. We got some stuff that we're going to do that's kind of fun to get people to kind of break the ice and get plugged in and get connected. There's a couple of ceremonial things that I want to do to really let go of the narrative that Austin, is not the spot to be home, but that we can actually turn things around. We're going to be talking about the plans and really getting contribution of like, what do y'all want to create, right? So having those conversations, being able to share the vision of what we want to do with Black Life ATX, and just acknowledging some of the people that are helping to make it happen. Because just even at that event, y'all, we've had about 25 people be like, can I help you? Can I volunteer? Can I contribute this? Can I give you that? I mean, folks cutting checks. Like, I just want to sew into you. So it's just been like, that's all about community connections and Black excellence to spotlight who we are in Austin, so people can actually see it. And I didn't want it to be like a club scene, or I don't want it to be where you come in and you're not seen. Everybody that walk in that room is going to be seen that day, and we're intentional about how we're setting some things up strategically for that, so that you're not going to walk out that room without not knowing a new person, following somebody, making sure you got a connection. And one of the key things that I really want to create locally is tribe. There's a lot of people with different interests, so we want to create tribe groups, and so starting to really get a feel of like, what do you want to create? What is it that you want to see differently? And then we're going to be building that out. So we have a lot of stuff in store for the community. And you asked, what was your second question? What do you
plan on contributing to the community as far as the meet and greet? What does that have? But I believe you answered it already with the kind of special things that you guys have intact. So I'm really excited to hear more about it, see it actually in real life.
It's gonna be spotlighting excellence all through that place.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was gonna say, I know we had talked off air previously. I know you were talking about you got a magazine coming. Right? So tell us a little bit about like what kind of topics the magazine is gonna cover and what type of impact you think it'll have on the community.
So this upcoming, is our first official magazine, and that will be coming out in September. The whole concept of that is economic empowerment in the Black community. So literally we have articles in there about lessons that we can learn from other communities of what makes a community thrive. I think one of the challenges that we often have in our community is get mine, but it's understanding what happens when we cross promote those dollars, because the average Black dollar does not reach past 6 hours, right? But if you go and you look at the Jewish community, it lasts $20 in the Jewish community. In the Asian community, it lasts 20 days in the Jewish community, 30 days in the Asian community, at least 6 days in the Hispanic community, 6 hours in the Black community, right? So making us be more intentional, because one of the biggest words in our community is under-resourced. Why are we under-resourced? Because we don't make it a priority to circulate our dollars and even have an awareness of like who to do business with, and plus crushing the narrative that Black people don't know how to do good business. My thing is this, and this is another thing that we're bringing, because we also are going to have a very strong, I'm big on entrepreneurship, so we're going to be doing a lot of things for the entrepreneur community here in Austin. And my thing is a lot of people don't do good business because they don't know how. So if we can create the resources to teach them how to do things, most Black businesses under-resourced, not making enough money, not profitable. So most of these businesses don't even know how to generate a profit. A lot of them, my mom used to have a catering company. She calculated her earnings, including what she spent. She never worried about what she spent, right? So teaching them what that looks like to do good business, so that now people will be happy to do business with them.
That's beautiful.
Oh, I didn't know if it with it dropping, if it was. It's good though. It's good? Okay, because it kept dropping and I was like, are you sure you able to hear me?
Can she hear me?
I didn't want to interrupt you. You were on a good roll.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll pull you back in and ask you about creating the business directory. Because that's basically what you're doing with your platform, is creating that for the minority. So that's what I'll pull. That's the question. So, cool. Okay.
Yeah, you were asking about the magazine. I don't know if we finished that.
I think we did. We're good.
Okay.
Cool. So on to the next portion. So the next question I have for you is, I know pretty much your platform is kind of creating a small, or actually large for that matter, business directory for the city of Austin. What are some of the other ways that you plan on and hope to help and assist the community with that initiative that you're doing with Black Life ATX?
Really just, I feel like we're going to go to print and make it where it's in circulation, but we're also making sure that it is social. Right? So we have a highlight section on Instagram where you can go through and look for different businesses. We're constantly spotlighting different businesses. We're going to have the directory, which is going to be physical, where people can have, and then also we have a website and all that where they'll be able to go to. Yeah. But one of the other things that I wanted to do, and this is just kind of an idea or a thought, but because I'm coming across so many people that just moved here, literally, like yesterday we are at an Oasis and we see a black couple above us, and y'all know I'm like, you all right? Yeah. You good? So I talked to them and asked, do they live here? A young lady just moved here from LA, right? Oh, wow. Okay. And she was feeling kind of lonely, saying it ain't working. And I was like, oh, let me plug you in. And so all night last night I was sending her resources and stuff. And so one of the things that I really want to do moving forward is probably quarterly or a couple times a year have a Welcome to Austin event. Where vendors can come who are black businesses. You can learn who's the black OBGYN, who is the barbers, who are the stylists. Just get to know the people in the room that this is who I am, because it's something about meeting people in real life, right? And it's something about connecting with folks. And so it's just been something that I've really been thinking about. I'm like, we need a Welcome to Austin party. And even if you live in Austin, just come out. And it doesn't have to be where it's pitching or selling. Just get to know who's in your neighborhood. We all hanging out and walk around and get to know all these different resources so you can learn how to leverage them. So those are the kind of things that I want to bring.
That's beautiful. So I know earlier you had talked about Black Life ATX becoming like, a big project for you, a task that you have to, stick with it every day, right? So let's talk a little bit about like some of the challenges that you've had so far, and how you've been able to overcome them.
So I think one of the challenges, and I don't even really consider it a challenge, because to me, I was prepared for them. It's fast growth. I already knew what I needed when we grew. I already knew what kind of systems I had to have in place. So one of the things that I didn't care about was how many people were following me. It was how many people are engaging with what I'm creating so that it's working. So I was literally putting systems in place while I was building. What are the things that I need to do every single day to keep the site circulating? I know every day I need 10 stories going in there. Every day I know I need to touch base with so many people. I need to follow X amount of people. Like I have routines and regiments, right? So when we grew, I already had systems. Like I used like 12 different pieces of software. Like we have stuff automated, you know what I mean? Like, so it was just, as we grew, it just made me put more effort into the systems really fast. And for me, I was already kind of burned out on my industry of coaching and training and all that stuff that I was doing before virtually. So I was looking for a shift. So it was a good shift for me, because it was like, okay, this is all stuff I've been doing for the past 15 years, but now I'm doing it on a personal project that I love. And so it was just kind of the transition of the growth, because you want to have the same impact at 10 businesses that you partner with as you do with 90 or 200. So to me, the challenge was just being prepared for the growth and putting the systems in place.
Got it. So with all that, I mean, you coach, we're talking author, digital marketer, mom, wife, right? We going on and on. It sounds like you need a strategic roadmap just to handle life.
I do. I do.
So can you give our listeners and our viewers a little bit on just some of the practices that you do, or some of the things that you implement on your day-to-day to help you? Okay, look, this is A slot, this is B slot, C slot. This is what I have to do today, or this is how I run through my daily schedule.
Yeah. So first off, I'll just say this: before you get into a routine, because if you don't have a vision, the routine ain't gonna work, right? So I was born and built for this. Like, this is what I'm called to do. And I know it. I tell people all the time, business is my ministry. So my husband has been with me through a gazillion businesses. Take a good man to be with an entrepreneur wife that be doing everything. And I got one. But I've done a lot of things, and I'm always intentional about alignment. And so to me, I'm so seriously aligned that it's easy for me to implement the strategy, because my vision is so clear. So like when it comes to how I run my life, my vision, like I had a vision before I launched, and it was just like, okay, this is what we want to do, this is what we want to create. Now it's taking over. It's way bigger than I
anticipated.
yeah. I'm like, okay, God, all right. But the vision has to drive you because you will burn out. So a lot of the industries I was in before, I was good at them, but I didn't love them and they were not aligned. So I would burn out really fast. Wow. Yeah. And so now with this, I'm okay with being patient with the process. But to get to answer your question. So right now it's chaos. Honestly, I ain't gonna say it's a lot of strategy. It's chaotic because it's a lot of moving parts that move so fast that I was like, I know what to do and how to do it, and I was prepared to do it, but at the same time, it is chaos. Right. So some days I'm up at 2 because I'm an early morning person. I like when the world is asleep, I get stuff done because I am a mom, and once my kids get up, it's a wrap. Yeah, right. It's a wrap. They run my day from school. They call me nonstop. Right. Exactly. So I know that my most effective hours is in the morning between 2 and 6. Okay. So I treasure that time. So I'll get up and I'll knock out a lot of main projects. But I'm also a delegator. So I call team in a heartbeat. So I have, most of my team have been working with me. Some of them were my clients. My business manager been with me for 7-8 years. She knows the ins and outs of my business. So I'm a delegator. So I also now, I create systems to hand off. So when it comes to the strategic piece of it, it's I'll do it long enough to know all the ins and outs of what it needs to be, how it needs to work, so I can have a full step-by-step system in place. Then I'm preparing to train somebody to take over. So that's kind of how this is working right now. Like right now I got a team of people working on the magazine, right? We've been doing that we are literally publishing like 100+ page magazine in like 2 weeks. Oh, wow. Like it is we're creating the ads, writing the copy, doing the graphics. Like it's been a lot. And the directory at the same time, and the event at the same time, and the website's being developed. Like it's just a lot, but it's years of doing this. Like, you know what I mean? So I just feel like I'm built for it. But to answer your question, it's a lot of sacrifice right now because all hands are on deck. So I don't even feel like I have balance. We'd be like, you need a balance. It ain't no balance happening right now. I'm take some naps some days. Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I got to get the systems in place, and then I can kind of coast and have a lot more regimen. So, but yeah, super strategic about a lot of stuff though. I do it.
Okay. I was gonna say, so I know earlier in the beginning we talked about your coaching being faith-based, right? So tell us a little bit about like how you're able to integrate faith with your coaching and your community building work.
So it's interesting because I feel like I have, so this is all God-led what I'm doing, but I don't lead with any type of religiosity in this setting. I don't want it to be a boundary for anybody in this environment. I wanted it to be communal, right? So my faith takes a stand in how I show up. So instead of trying to beat people over the head with my faith, I don't do that here. But I love on them so much through what I do that they just are like, God, this is different, right? So, because once again, I'm called to the field. Like I'm not the person that is going to be called to the folks that's already good. I'm called to be the people that don't want to hear nothing about it, don't want to be bothered with it. I've got church hurt, all this stuff. Like the folks who don't understand, I just feel like I embody who God has called us to be. Like I'm the hands and the feet. So when you on the ground, this ain't about religion. It ain't about all these things. It's about how you show up and how you create that impact in the work that you do every day. Right? Because you can say a whole lot with your mouth, and a lot of people do. Right. But the problem is when you meet them in real life, you be like, ugh, like, I don't know what's going on in your world, but I don't want to have nothing to do with it, right? So to me, so the faith-based piece of that, it's been there, but it's not something that I require others to engage with me with. It's just how I run my businesses. I'm led by faith. Everything I'm doing is a faith walk, right? Like this is a faith. Cause y'all, it take money. I bet. I'm sure. And you ain't always got all of it. You be like, okay, God, you told me to do this. Like, where the resources coming from? So it's a big faith walk.
That's what's up. So what kind of other impacts do you hope in the future Black Life ATX has on the community and then also just the people that you serve and service for that matter?
I really just hope I create something that it'll just catch fire and others just attach themselves to. I know I ain't gonna be here forever. Right? I realize that this is something that I'm initiating, but I really wanted to evolve into an opportunity to be a platform for others to shine. There's a scripture in Proverbs, it's either 16:18 or 18:16. It says, your gifts will make room for you and plant you before great men. And I had this revelation at the beginning of the year, because most of us be like, yeah, make room for me, plant me before great men. But the Lord led me to realize you are the great person they're going to be planted in front of, designed to create the stage to give people the spotlight. So you are to create the stage. You are to hand that mic off. You are the vessel that's gonna make room for other talents. So make room, prepare for other people to have a platform. And so with me, I'm really gifted. I always have been gifted with like the rally up. Like I was a kid at home that was, y'all come to the house, we're about to have a cookout, blah, 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 right? So platform is easy for me, business is easy for me, crowd is easy for me. Like that marketing is easy for me, where it's the challenge for most people. So I'm called to be a problem solver in that space where it's like, you do what you do well, let me handle this for you and I'm gonna give you the mic. And you don't have to really worry about trying to figure all this out. And so I'm hoping, one thing I'm really doing right now is a lot of people are coming to me to work with me. I want to mentor some of the younger ones to learn how to do what I do so they can take over. Like I really want this to be something that can live on and not be a trend. Like she came and she went fast and now she's gone, because if something happened to me, I need to keep going. So I would love for it to be just like a legacy start for something that Austin can leverage for generations to come, especially with what they say is about to happen in Austin, all this growth. Yeah, man. You know what I mean? So we got to prepare for the crowd that's coming and the growth that's coming. So that's my goal.
Okay. So I know we were talking a little bit about legacy, right? So with the future of Black Life ATX, what does Black Life ATX look like in 2025 or 2028 or 2030? Can you give us some insight on that?
Ooh, so I see buildings.
Okay.
I see buildings. One of the visions that I had, and which is funny, Robert Smith, the wealthiest black man, and lives in Austin.
Right, yeah, exactly.
We're 6 degrees of separation if you hear this. So come on, reach out to your girl. I have a vision to create an entrepreneurship and leadership center for the youth. I see the building. I see all the stuff going on inside, teaching the kids STEM, code, entrepreneurship, all these things. But I see us starting to have facilities, buildings, locations, spaces, ownership, because that's the issue, right? Like, we got us, but we don't have a lot of ownership.
Right, yeah.
So it's like your impact can only go so far before that money is crossing over. Like right now we're doing an event. I hate that it's not at a black place, right? But there was nowhere really that can hold that amount of people.
Yeah, right.
In the to me, I wanted it to be a classy event.
Right.
So in a way where it can be facilitated, where we can handle the crowd and the growth without conflict, right? Because parking or anything like that, right? So I see buildings, I see networks and communities working together to have more economic empowerment and way more leverage. I see us really having like tribes that are helping people to get transition into whatever it is. Like I just see, buildings is the number one thing. Building, because you got to have real estate to have impact.
Right.
So yes, one of the key things.
Awesome. So similar to the legacy question, and I know you said you wanted to hand it off in the future. So for a young entrepreneur, a young author, community organizer, what advice would you give them? Give me 3 things. What advice would you give them if they're starting out and coming to you and say, Ms. Cooper, I need some help. Show me the way.
So I would say, the first thing for me is focus on where you're called.
Okay.
Right? And here's what I mean by that. There's a lot of problems, but you ain't called to serve all of them. Right? It's too much.
Right.
And I think a lot of times we lead with empathy, and that empathy can lead you to a place of burnout and disappointment. So you got to know where you're called. I know I'm called into the business space for Black professionals, but in that, I just so happen to serve consumers because I link them to the businesses. And with that, I link with the resources and all those things. So it's kind of one good scoop of the whole community, but the emphasis is on Black businesses because my goal is to help businesses here 2x to 10x their income on an annual basis. So I want people to be able to look and be like, yo, I made more this month than I made last year. Because I said we want to start something called Sellout Saturdays, where we be like, got a text message, yo, we all about to meet here at, like, one of the ladies, she Sugar's Cakery. Meet me at the cupcake spot. Let's sell her out. And give her a heads up. You might want to do double or triple today because we coming through, right? So just getting them to get comfortable with making money.
Right.
And then also getting them in position to learn how to, what to do with the money. But anyway, so the first thing is know where you're called. Because we have great hearts. Black people are really good about wanting to help people. Right. But we're not always good about the strategy that's going to be the most effective in how to do that. So know where you're called. The second thing is keep it about the mission. Don't make it about you. Can't be about you. Because it's going to come a point in time where you have to be very, I mean, from the get, you got to be selfless. Like, it can't be no ego in this thing at all. That's why when I came here, I had a lot of clients who saw what I was doing. A bunch of people were trying to talk me out of it. They was like, Nick, you gonna do that for $25? Like, I charge clients high five figures for projects, right? So they was like, that's a waste of time. I was like, nah, this is where I'm called. And I had to humble myself, go out here and sell $25 ads in a directory, right? Where I'm used to selling $25,000 packages. So it was the humility of it. You got to stay attached to the mission, because at the end of the day, it's understanding where you're called to, what you're called to create. Right. And a lot of it means dying to yourself in that journey of developing that out. And the third thing is think of the long haul. Like, we're very short-term generation. We want everything right now. Now, it did happen for me fast, but at the same time, it's still kind of moving a little slow compared to, some of the things that it could be. But I'm thinking about the long term. Like, how can we make this sustainable so it can last? I'm serious about lasting beyond me, because I'm like, if anything happened to me next week, who's gonna carry this over, right? So think for the long term, and that will give you. I met a guy at he was at the small business. They had a small business event at the city of Austin. It was really, really good. All these different organizations in town to help you with your business. And we were talking about me coming from the online world to the offline world. So online world, we live in a delusion. Like, everything is push button. Literally, you can make money out of thin air. But what happens is we want stuff so fast, it costs us a lot of money to force it to happen. And he said, one of the things you're going to have to learn by doing what you're doing is give yourself more time. Instead of thinking about just a 90-day plan, think about, like you said, what's your 5-year plan? If you think about Asia, the reason why Asia is so impactful culturally, financially, legacy-wise, they start planning for 50 years out, right? So they thinking way beyond even their generation, multiple generations ahead, where we be like, yo, in the next week, I'm about to be a millionaire. I'm about to be on fire. Right. And it's and then it don't work. You be like, man, that didn't work. I quit.
I got to figure out something else.
Yeah. So he told me, he said, you got to let go of this quick, fast, immediate, and give yourself the time so you give time to build it out. So that would be my third point.
Okay. So I know we were just talking about your long-term future, right? So in the short term, what does Black Life ATX have coming down the pipeline? Any events? I know we talked about the magazine. We talked about the meet and greet. What kind of events you got coming down the pipeline?
Yes. So we have, right now we're planning for our launch party, official launch and magazine launch party in January. Okay. I was just sharing with them today, we want to do something for the holidays, like a family connection, like I don't know where we'll rent. In my head, it's like a mansion. You get, everybody kind of put money towards it, get a caterer to come out. And everybody just kind of comes, you set your own table. We set the tables up, you decorate your own table. We have our own Christmas together and Thanksgiving, because I know us, it just be us. We be at home on the couch watching football on Thanksgiving, because, we don't really have family here. So it's creating that kind of community. But another real initiative that I want to start is tribes. It's where you find your tribe. Like in church, you got small groups, but for us, I want us to build tribes, because like we went to DreamCon. Did y'all cover that?
I missed out. I'm so mad I missed out.
Yo,
that was wild. I missed out.
That was
wild,
brother.
Let me tell you something.
That was wild, brother.
They are fire.
Yeah.
28,000 people, young Black people that are big into anime. It was just crazy. It was amazing. I was like, and they're here. They moved here. So y'all look them up. Get them on the show. They're awesome. But going to DreamCon, you see this, a lot of Black people love anime. So if that's what you love, you have your tribe, you get together, you don't no longer feel like you got to go watch YouTube or go to Houston or Dallas to get your tribe. So I want to start tribe groups. And it's not me starting them. It's me creating a platform for y'all to market what y'all doing. Right. So those are the kind of things that we have coming up. It's a lot of, right now I have a lot of ideas and I have a lot of volunteers. So we're just trying to, I don't want to be super ambitious that we got to do it all. I really want to see what's already in existence where we just endorse and cross promote. So we have, I will say we have the Wealth and Power Conference coming up. We just partnered up with them. That's coming on September 30th. They're doing something next Saturday called Cocktails and Conversations. They're bringing Julius Gordon. I don't know if y'all know him, big time in multifamily real estate. MG, the mortgage guy from EYL. They're bringing, and why is his name escaping me? He owns the Black Business School. God, it's escaping me. Powerful financial, he's all over the internet. But they're bringing him here on September 30th, right? Those events don't come to Austin, and it take a lot to do that. So we're working with them to help fill that room and get people out. So we have events that we want to do, but we really want to find what's already happening that they need support of getting people in the room, because that's the issue with a bunch of people doing stuff, but folks don't show up because they don't know about it. So that's kind of what we have on the setup for Black Life ATX.
With that support and for your standard entrepreneur, what's some personal maybe books or resources that they can utilize on their own to help grow their business?
So one of the biggest books that I would recommend is The One Thing.
Oh, The One Thing. Okay.
The One Thing, that's one of the things that started to get me focused. Because as an entrepreneur, you need discipline. Entrepreneurs are usually creatives and they're usually visionaries. Visionaries are often scatterbrains. The issue with the visionary is the inability to stick with something long enough to see it through. So what you'll find about entrepreneurship, before I need to know strategies, techniques, marketing, I need discipline. I need commitment to this process. I need to scale back because your life might look a little shoddy for it. We eating a lot of rice and beans right now because I cut off a lot of my business things that I was doing to put my energy into this. Willfully so. I wanted out of those things, right? But it's a financial sacrifice, and so you need discipline when you're an entrepreneur. You need consistency. You need to learn how to be regimented. You need to learn how to be focused. You need to learn how to be committed. Like, those things are the greatest assets that you can have as an entrepreneur, that even if you don't really understand all the other pieces, you'll far supersede the average person in your business because you'll come across people in your network that add value in those areas where you're falling short. And so so I would say The One Thing, Atomic Habits is another one, Building Atomic Habits, because I got a ton of business books. But that was what my husband would be on me all the time. He'd be like, even my kids would be like, "Mommy, why you don't do that thing no more? What happened to this business? Well, we were doing so good in that thing. Why did you stop?" I didn't have the discipline. I call it the squirrel mentality, where you like, every little idea, you like, "Oh, I can do this, I can do it." And I would go to my husband, I'd be like, "Babe, I can do that." And he'd be like, "Babe, anything you do, you'll be okay. But you just need to stick something out." And so for entrepreneurs, it starts there. And that's where I would recommend. And then you can add on, because all that other stuff, if you ain't got no discipline, it don't matter.
Here it is.
It don't. It's like, you can read all the powerful books and go to all the conferences and everybody got something great. You got 50 notebooks, but your execution sucks. So like, and I coach, so I see it all the time. My coaching is therapy on discipline. And one of my greatest, it's crazy, people have paid me all kind of money. My greatest asset that most people go crazy over is something called a DMO. It's called a daily method of operation. It's a document that I have that it's a straight up simple Google Doc. It's just a spreadsheet with Sunday through Saturday, and it got time slots from whatever time you get up in the morning, and we just show people how to block out their days. That is what people go crazy over. Because what happens as an entrepreneur, you're the marketer, you're the sales
That's
rep,
bad.
you're the tech person,
Jack of all
you
trades.
know, we do.
Your AP.
You everything. So if you don't know what to focus on, you
Right.
don't get anything complete. So I had to train my brain one thing a day. So today may be like today was proposal day because
Okay.
people starting to come to me to do certain things. So it was like, ain't nothing else getting my attention today but proposals.
Right.
That way, I'm not trying to do proposals today, shoot videos today, do this today, do that today, do that today. But it's like, how do you batch your day around one focus? And that's what the one thing is about.
Okay.
But if I can do one thing, what is the one thing that I need to focus on that such by doing it, it will impact everything else?
I love that.
And when you're an entrepreneur, it got to be income producing activities, right? Because that's another thing. You can get caught up being real busy and broke. Real busy. So that's why today it's Monday. I don't take calls on Mondays. I did today because the event's next week. But it's straight up, what's my biggest money mission?
Right.
Let me do that today. And
Right.
that was the focus is like Mission Mondays.
Right.
The Money Mission Mondays.
Gotcha.
How about that?
I
just
like
made
that.
that up.
I like that.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was gonna say, so for Black Life ATX, so for people that resonate with your mission and your work, like how can they get involved or how can they support any initiatives that you got going on in the future?
Yeah, just hit us up and we're gonna figure that out because
Okay.
we need a team to handle the team. I'm like, we getting all kind of volunteers.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I just got somebody today that reached out. She was like, I want to help. And I found out she's an event coordinator that does all the setup. I said, can you run everything that everybody volunteering
She
to
said,
do?
all this right here, I need all that taken
Yeah,
care
I said, she was like, what do you need me to do? I said, tell me what to do. I need you to tell me what to do and how this need to run because this is what you do and this ain't quite what I do.
Yeah.
I don't do this quite well. All these people help, they want to help, but I can't get back to people fast enough and things start getting real choppy because
Right.
it's out of my wheelhouse. So yeah, but reach out. I mean, honestly, we moving fast. Y'all want to help me out? I'm like, we need some help. We really need a round table.
Okay.
We really need community leadership coming in together. It's a guy. I think I'm going to his event this week. He does an entrepreneurship meetup. I was like, bet I'm coming because if that's what you do, we'll tap into what you are already doing. I don't have to recreate the wheel.
Right.
We just need some people to help us make this make sense.
I got you.
Yeah, because I don't quite have all the answers.
So where can everybody find you?
BlackLifeATX.com is where you'll find like our link tree with everything. And right now we're focused on one thing. We're focused on Instagram. We do have TikTok. We will have Facebook. I'm focusing on Instagram right now. But anyway, we do have those other platforms, but we are heavy on Instagram and then our Black Life ATX site. And then also they can join our email list. We have a text message system that we're setting up where people can tap in for different things that they want. So they can, but Instagram is best and go to blacklifeatx.com.
Gotcha. So we got one last question before we wrap up, and we hit every guest we got with this question, right?
Okay.
So I know you've been on the show, you've seen what we do, you've seen the episode. So with that said, who do you think in the future would be a good guest for the show? But before you answer, it has to be somebody that you can contact, like somebody's contact information that you got in your phone. You can reach out to them and you're like, hey, tap in with the 2-hour lunch break. You'd be good to go on the show with those guys.
I love it. DreamCon. I got the
Hey,
PR guy on my phone.
Let's do it.
Yeah, y'all need to get them in. I love those guys.
No,
I
it was-
love what they're
What I tell you,
creating.
bro,
Yeah.
it was wild.
Right,
It was crazy.
Like, and then they started in Waco, I think, with 17 people.
Yeah,
like, if you hear the
yeah.
story, or it was in Twinville. I got the 17 messed up. It was in 2017. But yeah, me and the PR guy connected, and I was helping to plug him into some of the resources here. So I'll reach out to him. He would love that because we talked about getting him more, like who to connect with here locally.
Yeah.
Y'all got to get them guys.
We
Man.
love it. We would love it.
Yeah, and then they're doing their campaign right now for 2024.
Okay. Oh man.
They
that's
just
super
opened up
awesome.
the ticket sales for that, and so it's gonna probably be 100,000 people up in Austin. Yeah,
I
next
believe it.
summer.
I believe
Yeah,
it.
it's gonna be crazy. So yes, I would love to share his resources with y'all.
All right, I say DreamCon, man. Y'all tap in with us, man.
Yes.
So I was gonna say, before we wrap up, let's plug all your social media handles. Where can everybody find you?
Yep. So you can find us at Black Life ATX. I'm Nicole S. Cooper. I don't post nothing on my page. I'm like, if you go look me up, you're gonna be like,
said,
oh,
go-
she's
go
just a
Black
mom.
Life.
Right, yeah,
Just a
Black Life.
mom.
Let's go to Black Life.
Yeah, you can go to Nicole S Cooper, but I did just launch something called Local Business Celebrity on Instagram. This is the business side of things where I'm teaching people how to do what I do.
Okay, cool.
Put my first live up today because I get a lot of people hitting me up like, okay, how do you build this Instagram? Even the people that are partnered with us, I'm coaching them on how to leverage their Instagram. So this is me giving business tips. So if you go to Instagram, it's Local Business Celebrity. And we'll have a website and stuff up too where they can tap in. I'm gonna have some free downloads and stuff that they can get and start really learning how to do this stuff effectively that is gonna convert and generate the response that they want.
Sweet.
Gotcha. All right, man. So that wraps up this edition of the 2 Hour Lunch Break. Once again, shout out Nicole Cooper tapping in with us. We appreciate you taking the time out your busy day to come sit down with us.
This is a crazy day today.
Yes,
Thank you.
Shout out our production. You can find them at Yodo's Photos. Check that at. Shout out Dawa Studios. They created the space for us to do this. Episodes of the 2 Hour Lunch Break can be found on all streaming platforms. We can be found on Instagram at 2HLB Pod and on Twitter at the 2 Hour Lunch. Thank you for tuning in. We out.
Peace.
And it's coming home to Texas. It's coming home all the way to Austin, Texas, baby.